Welcome back to Galaxy Recaps. Today, we're diving into the intense action thriller movie, titled 21 Bridges. Enjoy the recap. Our story kicks off with Andre, a highly skilled NYPD homicide detective who has dedicated his life to justice. At the young age of 13, Andre lost his father, a police officer in the line of duty. Ambushed by 3 attackers, his father managed to take down 2 before falling victim to the third. 19 years later, Andre has built a reputation for hunting down cop killers, having taken out 8 in his 9-year career. Despite frequent investigations by Internal Affairs, Andre has always been cleared of any wrongdoing. When he's off duty, Andre cares for his mother Vanetta, who suffers from dementia and sometimes mistakes him for her late husband. Though Andre doesn't flaunt his reputation, he takes pride in his record and sees himself as a true enforcer of justice. One fateful night in Manhattan, 2 small-time criminals, Michael and Ray, plan to steal 30 kilograms of cocaine from a local wine shop. To their shock, they discover a stash of 300 kilograms, 10 times what they expected. While Ray is ecstatic about their newfound fortune, Michael is wary, knowing they are stealing from major players. Despite his concerns, Ray starts packing the drugs. Their plans are abruptly interrupted by the arrival of NYPD officers. As the cops knock on the door, Ray and Michael realize they are in deep trouble. The officers spot the cocaine and storm the shop. Ray kills 2 officers who enter while Michael takes out the store owner. Another 2 officers come in from the back. One is immediately shot dead, and the other is pinned down by Ray's semi-automatic. The officer calls for backup, but when he pokes his head out, he gets shot. They rush outside, stuff the drugs in the trunk, and speed off, only to be cornered by a police car. Ray pops his head out of the car, firing through the window, killing both officers. 2 more officers arrive, and as one woman steps out, Ray shoots her. The other officer returns fire, forcing Ray and Michael to take cover. Ray sneaks behind and finishes him off. They move the cop car out of the way and speed off. Detective Andre is assigned to the case and receives a briefing from Captain McKenna of the 85th Precinct. The crime scene is a chaotic mess, filled with grieving officers, ambulances, and detectives. Captain McKenna urges Andre to use his expertise to bring the perpetrators to justice, no matter the cost. Given the large quantity of drugs involved, Andre is required to work with Detective Frankie from the Narcotics Department, despite his objections. Captain McKenna insists this collaboration is mandatory. Meanwhile, the robbers find a private spot to regroup. Michael scolds Ray for his impulsive choice to kill 7 police officers, even shooting the wounded. Thanks to Ray's actions, they are now destined to be fugitives. Desperate for a way out, they meet with their associate, Bush, demanding a larger share of the deal to escape the city. At the crime scene, Andre deduces that the robbers weren't prepared for the 300 kilos of cocaine. They only managed to take 50 packs and arrived in a small BMW. The FBI arrives and takes control of the investigation, much to the dismay of Andre and McKenna. Andre believes the drugs will be sold in Manhattan before dawn, and suggests shutting down the city to capture the suspects by 5 a.m. Police Chief Spencer backs the plan and brings it to the mayor. The FBI agrees, and all 21 bridges in Manhattan are shut down until 5 a.m., ensuring the suspects can't escape. All transportation in and out of the city is halted. Rivers are patrolled, tunnels blocked, and trains and subways closed. Meanwhile, Bush escorts Michael and Ray to meet the buyer, Hawk. Initially, Hawk dismisses their demand for more money, but Michael has already calculated the potential profit. The 50 kilos they took will quadruple to 200 by the time they hit the streets, with an average street value of $32,000 per unit, totaling almost $6.5 million. With this in mind, Michael's demand for $1 million seems reasonable, and Hawk agrees to the deal. Hawk then introduces them to Audie, a trusted cleaner who can launder their money through offshore accounts and provide them with new identities and travel documents. However, a photo of Michael and Ray running a red light is discovered, and the vehicle registration is traced back to Bush. During a raid on his house, they find a woman named Yolanda. Although she hasn't seen Bush in some time, she identifies Ray and Michael from the traffic cam photos. They discover Ray had a troubled past, joining the army with his friend and Michael's older brother Arvell. Michael, on the other hand, was a bright child with a promising future but dropped out of college and joined the army after his brother's death in Afghanistan. However, he was dishonorably discharged after attacking his commanding officer. While at Addie's house, they come across a news report announcing that the island has been put on lockdown. Meanwhile, Bush turns up at a lounge that is being monitored by the police. However, before Andre can reach the scene, Sergeant Butcho of the 85th Precinct takes matters into his own hands and avenges the death of his fellow officers by killing Bush at the bar. Andre soon arrives at the scene and finds out that their only lead has been killed, and a weapon was likely planted on him after the fact, as evidenced by the empty ankle holster of Sergeant Butcho. Andre confronts the sergeant about the shooting, and the argument escalates until Butcho shoves Andre in frustration, resulting in a punch to the face. Back at Addie's condo, a transfer of $326,000 is made to offshore accounts using new false identities for Ray and Michael. The remaining balance will be paid in cash upon their arrival in Miami, where they are instructed to travel by motorbus. The discussion is abruptly cut short by the arrival of a police team led by Lieutenant Kelly, who forcibly enters Addie's reinforced steel door. The ensuing gunfight leaves Addie mortally wounded, but before he dies, he gives Michael 2 flash drives from his computer and the password to access them. Curious about how Addie's condo was located so quickly, Andre makes his way there from the lounge. Upon arrival, he spots Michael and Ray, who have just barely escaped out the window. In a nearby kitchen, Ray insists they split up since he has sustained a gunshot wound to his midsection, making them too easy to track if they stay together. Andre identifies himself to a kitchen worker who nods in the direction of Ray's location. Too injured to keep running, Ray anxiously sits in a doorway where he mistakenly shoots a bystander before Andre takes him out amidst the cold, meaty surroundings. Meanwhile, Michael sneaks up on Frankie, disarming her with the butt of his gun and using her as a shield. Frankie implores Andre to take the shot, even though it puts her in harm's way. But Andre declines, instead trying to reason with Michael. He reminds Michael of his military past and his brother Arvel's honorable service, pointing out that all the bloodshed was caused by Ray, not Michael. This resonates with Michael, and he raises concerns about several suspicious events. At the wine shop, the worker checked his watch just before the police arrived, and they knocked softly on the door, which wouldn't happen in a tip-off robbery call. Later, at Addie's condo, Addie was shot through the peephole without warning and identified them as the 85th Precinct before even seeing them. Michael retreats into the meat locker, frees Frankie, and secures the door behind him with a screwdriver. He escapes on foot, and Frankie yells at Andre for not taking the shot. Michael takes refuge at the nearby Parallax Hotel, where he holds a person hostage in his room and knocks him out to use his laptop. Using the password Addie gave him, Michael accesses the flash drive and quickly realizes that the 85th Precinct is involved in trafficking drugs. The files detail each corrupt officer by their badge number, and Michael finally understands what he walked into. Michael transforms his appearance with a clean shave and a new outfit, but he is forced to pause in the hotel lobby as police officers arrive. He changes his route through the kitchen but is discovered, leading to another pursuit. While trying to escape, Michael accidentally crosses in front of a vehicle and is thrown to the ground. He quickly gets up, leaving his bag of money behind, but is saved from being shot by Andre's intervention. As dawn approaches, the subway stations begin to reopen, and Michael moves underground where he is trapped on a train. A tense standoff occurs, but Andre convinces Michael to surrender by guaranteeing his safety. This promise is credible to Michael because Andre is the only police officer who talks first and shoots second. Just as Michael lowers his weapon and hands it over, he is shot from behind by Frankie, who mistakenly believed Andre was in danger. As Michael takes his final breaths, he whispers the password to Andre and hands over the flash drives. Afterwards, Frankie and Andre return to their fellow officers, who commend them for their performance. However, Andre becomes increasingly suspicious and uses Frankie's phone to uncover that she had contacted Lieutenant Kelly just before the raid on Addie's condo. Manhattan returns to its usual activity, and Captain McKenna comes home to find Andre waiting for him with a gun in hand. McKenna already knows the reason for Andre's visit. After accessing the drives, Andre realizes that the 85th Precinct was serving as armed protection for a high-level drug dealer. And the events from the previous night were just a case of misfortune when the wine store was robbed. Addie was easily located because he is the same cleaner that McKenna uses to launder his money. Unapologetic, McKenna explains that it was never about luxuries like Mercs or Rolexes, but about low wages for a job that often leads to offices' deaths, depression, broken marriages, and a poor quality of life. Andre, who grew up in a law enforcement family and experienced the loss of his father, is deeply affected by these words, but he refuses to abandon his duties. At that moment, officers from the 85th Precinct are seen moving outside the house before they begin firing. Andre successfully eliminates all of them, including McKenna, who refuses to surrender even after being severely injured. Frankie then approaches from behind and holds Andre at gunpoint, demanding the flash drives, but Andre informs her that it's too late. He explains that the drives have been duplicated, so killing him would only result in a life sentence for Frankie and her daughter growing up without a mother. Moved by his words, Frankie tearfully surrenders her badge and allows herself to be arrested. Afterwards, Andre is shown driving across the Manhattan Bridge with the blood-stained flash drive still in his car. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.